Welcome to the Q&A with Blanca Vergara. Blanca Vergara is community member of Knowco Collabwith, and Blanca Vergara is business coach, author of the Heart Center Economy Framework, and author of the Future Builders Framework. And here we have the question for you. Blanca, welcome to our Q&A.
Thank you, delighted to be here.
So our first question, because we are in the crisis 19, so crisis COVID-19. So what are the business opportunities during this crisis of the COVID-19?
Thank you very much, Hannah, for this opportunity. I see this crisis as a great opportunity for us to renew our economy and our entire world. You might have seen the photos that NASA has released that after a couple of weeks of being at home, the Earth starts showing signs of improvement. The skies, the animals, everything was greener. The impact of just being quiet was huge. We don't want to go back to how it was before. We want to build something that allow us to live a better life in the future with what we have learned. So I created a framework that I like to call the Future Builders Framework, and I'm going to share with you right now. What is this all about? This is, let me see, this is about where people are at the moment, where the population all over the world is more or less at the moment. We have people who are having the big loss. These are people who have lost a family member. There are people who have lost their job, people who have lost their health. And I'm going to take a step back. Why this is important, why this is so relevant for the future of business. Nobody sells anything if there is not a problem. Nobody sells anything if it doesn't respond to what people need and want. So this is very important, very relevant to understand where people are at the moment. So the people who have lost a job, who have lost a mother, the people who have lost their health, they have specific needs. Needs for grieving, needs for reinventing themselves, needs related to that big loss. The people who are in the big rest, and for me those ones are really interesting, are those workaholics who used to travel all over the world and not knowing who, I saw a joke, terrible joke, but showing reality. Who is this man, mommy? Is your father. The people who have the big rest are getting reacquainted with who they are, with who their family is, who their whole house is. And these people in the big rest are revisiting their values, revisiting how they want to see the future. This is very interesting for how the business will be. Who are doing the big work? I'm talking about the health workers, the people who are absolutely changing how the health systems all over the world is going to work. And for me, the people who are listening here, I hope, are more the future builders. The people who are going to be holding the space for all these people who are, if you wish, suffering or in great need. The people who I hope are listening to this audio and this video, who are going to create new companies or modify the offer that they have so that we actually can keep these pristine waters all over the world, these to restore relationships between husband and wife, restore, build a better way of the education system, go everywhere, all different ways of future building. The people who are going to be the glue of this suffering of the other three. So I see this as a great opportunity, almost the time that we were waiting for, the time that I was waiting for to tell people what they can, how important entrepreneurship is, how important innovation is, that the way we have been doing things hasn't been working and that we can work in a better way. This is our time. So this is how I see how business are going to be changing, responding to the actual needs of humanity for today and for the future, because, you know, it's going to come a recession. No matter what, it's going to be, there will be a recession. The question is how deep and how long. Will it be a depression? A depression is if a recession lasts for longer than 10 years. Will that be? Well, it depends on us. It depends on the imagination and the possibility of creation that we all have. We all have. If you are not a business owner, you can become a business owner. If you are already a business owner, how creative are you going to be in responding to these needs? And in responding to these needs in an honest way. And maybe I would like to dig deeper in what is this subject of the big loss and the big rest.
Yeah, and I like when you are saying our innovation and creativity, because when we are looking at to change the industry and how we are doing things now, it's not only to add more money into the rescue to recover the society and the industrial network and all the industry. The issue is here is like when we have this opportunity, we have to use our brains, we have to think differently, we have to be creative and use as much innovation we can to recover from this crisis. And this is, I think, you are talking a very important point. It's not like to rebuild with money only what we had before and continue with the same type of operations, but to rethink how we are doing operations. And this is creativity and this is innovation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We cannot just continue doing what we were doing before. This corona crisis, as you know, the word crisis in Chinese is written with two words, two ideograms. One means danger. Yes, indeed, the corona, the virus, the COVID-19 can kill you. Yes, it is dangerous. But the other ideogram means opportunity. This is giving us the opportunity to be the strong person at the funeral, to be the person who is going to rebuild and to bring hope, to bring innovation, to bring the future. Is really future building. What kind of future we want to see? And it's not a matter of adding money. It's not a matter of printing money. I mean, it's so easy for governments to put another zero in the national banks. That will bring us to recession. It's just terrible. Where the real stuff really happens is with businesses. Charity doesn't cut it. I have seen so many charities trying to relieve poverty all over the world. Tell me about it. I am Mexican. I have seen so many charities working bad because they don't partner with the poor and they don't understand what are the needs of the poor. When you don't understand the needs of who you're giving the money to, you are not really fulfilling their needs.
Or to rebuild the future
together.
Yeah, to work together to see how we can do things differently, how we can help to not only the business, but as well as society as a whole and to have impact. And I think this is coming to the next question.
Yes.
About, we were doing most of the business and as well, I think we can target now business only thinking about the financial well-being of the business and the financial well-being maybe of the customers, but only thinking about pure money. And now with this crisis, COVID-19, we are looking at the points like, hey, wait, what is happening about the social impact? What is happening, how we can help, or how now we see the importance of the relationships. And we see the importance of the planet and to be more sustainable in the long term. And as well, we saw this before and how we can be more sustainable as a company. And sometimes it was some kind of greenwashing, but really how we can create economies who has values and who has an impact with these values, and how to measure this impact and how to change the mindset of we are here not only to make money, we are here to make money, to become a better business, to make an impact in the society with sustainability, with social impact, and whatever value this company has with this purpose. So I think you have a very interesting framework for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And let me share it with you. This is a framework that I call Building the Heart-Centered Economy. This is my personal story as person, as professional. This is the story of, I think, of humanity, and this is the story of many people I know, including 100% of my customers. So how does this work? The horizontal axis is success, money, impact, power, what we have traditionally called the masculine values of fame and, the golden medal on the podium. And the vertical one is happiness, is meaning, is love, and this is the ultimate feminine, the mother at home breastfeeding. And more or less the story starts in the bottom left, where we are just surviving. We are not really striving for success, and we are not really working in our relationships. And all the time we jump into the right, which is the action. The society used to be like that, very harmonious with the nature, and then we went and we wanted control. And we started in this control for thousands of years. We have been adoring everything that is masculine for thousands of years. Just the profit margin, just power and politics, and just control, pure control. But that has been breaking because the global consciousness is increasing. I left this greed economy because one Sunday I asked myself, what am I doing with my life? I have nothing but money. I was very high in the greed economy. I was a big executive with my big expensive car. And I went all the way to the pink, the bohemian economy. I went and did coaching and everything is spiritual, and I was giving away everything for free. And this is something that I see so many people doing right now. So many people, so many of my customers are doing that. They left companies that were completely greedy, and they don't like what they saw there, and they go all spiritual.
Yeah, definitely. I have this feedback as well. Like, they say, no, I am not going to this part of the corporate. And corporate is the values is only money, only productivity. And then, no, I prefer to do impact things. I prefer to work on impact. I mean, they hate some kind of the corporate or business.
Yeah.
We can say business, normal business, because how the business was doing until now. They were not taking care of impact. They were not taking care of values. And now they want only values, when you are going to one extreme to the another extreme.
Exactly. And this extreme is extreme. So I like to call them the greed economy is a toxic masculine, and the bohemian economy is a toxic feminine. Is this, in the spiritual terms, the toxicity of the masculine is the fire, and it just burns you. And it really works like that. It's the burnout. That's what people get, the burnout. Here in the Netherlands, the statistics are rampant of the burnout. And the bohemian economy is everything about love and the feminine, and we're drowning. And my customers tell me, I'm drowning, Blanca, because they need money. And it's not men or women, it's just the values, because I see men quitting and getting all spiritual. And and all spiritual is it can go in many ways, People go into religions, people go into all kind of different practices of meditation and things like that. So my point is that we have to go to that purple one. But how do we do that? And how do we go from the green economy directly to the heart center, or the bohemian to the heart center economy? Well, there is no directly, or there is. Could it be COVID-19? Could it be? Could it be that what is happening to us could be the best thing that is happening to us? Because suddenly we have to rest. Suddenly we have to observe, to connect to our values. What am I doing? Have you noticed that you are over-consuming? Have you noticed that you are overthinking? Have you not noticed that you are over anything? Because we have been over many things. It's time to renew, rethink, redesign, replan, renew. It is forcing us to review everything that we have been doing, to readjust to something new. And this something new has to incorporate everything and everybody. And money is included in this equation. We have to stop seeing money as the bad guy. Money is a way to communicate with people.
And as well, for the transactions, but as well from the grid economy to go to the health center economy is to see impact as not the strange thing, or like unprofessional, like having impact is professional.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's the core of the business.
Absolutely.
It could be the core of the business if we understand like it's key, and it's not other way maybe now to do business without impact, without caring about the society, about the planet, and the values we can have. In my case, I care about the academics, how the academics they can work better with companies or with startups. I care about how the business they do innovation. So everyone has the values. So for me, in the case of collaboration or the case of like creativity, innovation, more transparency in the communications.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's depending on your values.
Absolutely. And then people ask me, will companies be able to do this? How will governments be able to do this? And if you look at the great leaders that we have today in governments, the guys and the gals that are doing a great job are the ones who have looked within, and you can see it, that they are talking to you through the camera with the values that they embrace. I think, for example, New Zealand. This is just a great example of how leadership is working. And look at smaller examples, like my local restaurant, how they are bringing meals to your house. From the big examples to the small examples, people are adapting to care for others, to build a really new solutions that motivate people to behave in a different way. Here in the Netherlands, the Prime Minister has asked us, please stay at home. Please. There is no martial law. We have been asked, please. And I really like that. And people are actually doing it. I think leadership is the way we are going to move to the heart-centered economy. Now, how we're going to create those leaders is our personal responsibility. So it starts with leadership, but it starts with personal leadership. So you have to go through your own journey of being really powerful towards action, to being very powerful towards within, and then to mix them both. because you need both. That's the reason why we have left brain, right brain. That's the reason why we have day and night, and the feminine and the masculine, and above and below. We have to integrate them like reality is integrated. And we cannot just live in the light. We need the dark. We cannot just keep working all the time. We need to rest. We need everything for the future. And we need to accept everything. And again, that's including money. Let's accept it. Think about money like you think of a knife. You can use a knife to kill somebody, or you can use a knife to fix a meal. And it is your own responsibility to do it. How are we going to ask governments? How are we going to ask big corporations? By changing our behavior. And we can do it. We have more power than we think we have. By not buying, by not, now we can do crowdfunding campaigns. We can really create companies by funding them. So I think personal leadership is where everything starts. And that way we can really change everything.
And I think now we can see how the companies react to the crisis COVID-19 is this direct link from the leader and the leaders and the senior management team in the companies to the company's behavior. How the leader's personality is the company personality. How they are reacting, they are as a person. So we can see companies, they are reacting, firing people, or there are other companies only reducing the salary of the employees, or how companies are reacting, helping actively to change the business model super quickly to build ventilators instead of cars, for instance. This is depending of, not every company is doing this. It's depending how the senior management, the CEO of that company is personally, the values of the leader is the values now of the business. And I think that's quite interesting to rethink maybe how the business is operating based on the values of the management team.
And I would say, I think I love the Stoics. I'm crazy about the Stoics, and I think about Marcus Aurelius. He says, stop thinking of discussing what's a great man. Be one. So he never wrote a book about Stoicism. He wrote his journal, and his journal is what we now read. He never wanted to be published. He never tried to persuade us to be Stoic. He was. So don't try to persuade anybody of how the leadership of the future should be. Persuade yourself and act accordingly. What is needed? What is what you see that will be good? For what do you care about? For the sea, for the children, for health, for what is what you care about? Take action. And you can take action. I just started something very simple. I started a Facebook group that is called Thank You Corona, because I care about gratitude, because I believe that gratitude just changes everything. I can tell you, I was criticized like crazy, because how can you be grateful of something so horrible? I get it, because some people are suffering. Well, we closed the group, and now that group is blooming, and we are helping people deal with tragedy. It's a small thing. It's a tiny Facebook group. It's ridiculous. It's not my business. And that is helping people. You can do something very simple, and that will have a huge effect on people.
Yeah. So now we can. I think the other question was about the use cases. So we were talking about the crisis COVID-19 opportunities together with the Future Builders framework, then to the framework of the heart-centered economy. So how to change from only economic to more mix of economic and impact on business side. So now for use cases. So we are going to the use case of entrepreneurship. What exactly means entrepreneurship having impact and having a healthy financial books?
Wow. You have to merge two things. What you care about and what are the relevant needs of today. This is very important. So doing your introspection, what is what you care about? Because as our dear Elon Musk says, entrepreneurship is like chewing glass and looking at the abyss. So if you're going to be in so much pain, you really should do something that makes you super happy. So number one, choose that something that makes you super happy. And number two, go and look for the relevance. I have created a document that I am making now, right now, and I will be making it available today. I have hundreds of crowdfunded ideas on businesses of business opportunities that people want to buy right now. I ask my readers and customers and followers to tell me to answer this simple question. What would you personally need and you will personally buy today? Tell me something practical that you will buy today. And I have hundreds of answers. So I'm willing to share that with the readers, but it is very simple. You go back to that triangle and you see, what do the people in the big rest need? What do the people in the big loss need? What do the people, even the people who are going to be the future builders, they need help. So, so my answer is, combine the two things of building the heart-centered economy. Go into your heart and see honestly what will give you so much energy that you will be able to chew glass looking at the abyss and connect with reality and be practical to sell something that people will buy from you. Don't offer something that nobody will crave. Be practical and look for something, business opportunity that people really want. Shall I give you some practical examples on that list?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you know people are indoors mainly? What do they need to do? They are bored. What do they need to do? Have fun. The first millionaire during the Depression of the 30s was the guy who developed Monopoly. Develop a game. You will be a millionaire yourself. A game. Something really simple. More complicated? Community building. We are longing for community. Build events online that with intimacy, with getting close to the camera, will give you the feeling of being reconnected again. I know of a business owner that is organizing events, dancing events, and everybody's dancing in their living room, and everybody's paying them the 15 euros for the event. He is making lots of money. So this is and it has to be very practical. If you hear my examples, they are terribly simple. You don't need to be complex. Just think about pleisters. What is a pleister? A Band-Aid. It is a piece of plastic with glue. That's it. And now they made it more complicated because they printed something pretty there. But that's it. Think simple. Even if you're a big company, think simple, practical.
So the other use case is, I think, very practical to think. So an established business like SME or corporate who were operating only on financial performance until now, and they want to have or to move to more heart-centered economy or to have impact in many ways. So depending on the values they have, how these kind of established business and companies move to the more impact business?
Start a project. I know of a hotel in Mexico, in Guadalajara, that has so many employees. They have to close now. That's what the law says there. But it doesn't prevent them from creating food that is takeaway. So now they are doing takeaway food. So think it this way. I have a current list of customers. These are my users, my followers, customers, mailing list, whatever you have of company. What else do they crave that is relevant and is heart-centered. Can I do it? Will I be happy to do it? And that's your answer. So it can be another case, shoe store. Shoe stores are mainly closed here in the Netherlands because you have to show the shoes to the person, so it cannot be 1.5 meters distance. So this shoe shop started delivering at home, and I'm talking about small shoe shop. So so that's the idea, to create projects that serve the people that you have in a different way.
And the impact, so how we can, for instance, I don't know, we can say a factory who is building machines.
Yeah.
Like it's very, like, you know, like it's a factory who is building machines, only taking care of the financial, so how the material, you know, all the P&L, how they can move to more to impact. How?
What kind of machines are you building? So you can move from machines of type A to machines of type B, because we will need machines. But what kind of machines are we going to build? I'm thinking of, for example, you know, there is food processing, and this is food processing that gives you diabetes, and you become quite addicted to that because it has massive sugar. Can you change your business model? You bet. What can you do? You have all these users. Can you be selling them something else? You could. It's a matter of product development and courage. Courage to say, I want to do something different. This is not COVID-19, but I'm really proud to say I really like their idea. Heineken. Heineken mainly sells alcohol. And they were sponsoring the Formula One. And they were criticized. How can you sell alcohol and promote the Formula One? We don't want alcohol with sports. And they changed. They flip, and now they are selling their beverage beer without alcohol. So don't think far away from what you're doing. And you can be as gigantic as Heineken and as gigantic as all these food and beverage companies. So start a project that really makes sense heart-wise and make it work. And start reducing the other programs. So
it's to make some kind of transitions, to start with a project, like it's easy to handle, easy to understand for the company.
Absolutely.
And how this project analyze the impact on the business as well.
Because
how they can move this kind of third economy into the business. So step by step, because it's very difficult to change this mindset. And I think like now in Europe, in the European Commission, they have the greening economy strategy. So for them, it's how we can help businesses to go into more impact. So in the part of the sustainability, because it's easy to send or to create new business, but it's very difficult to transform a business.
Well, you know, it's going to be really
mindset,
easy.
You know, like it's not a financial reporting, it's social impact reporting, sustainability impact reporting. It's not now only about numbers. It's how you are dealing with your business in the industry and the society.
Now I'm going to be almost cruel, but if you don't do it, you're going to go bankrupt.
Now will be the companies who will survive the crisis will be the companies who has impact or not impact in the performance.
Absolutely. You know, my customers, my personal customers in my business coaching practice, what I see is that they have worked in horrible industries and they just go out because they cannot, really, these greed economy industries, that's what I'm talking about, the ones that just make money and don't care about you and don't care about their customers either, don't care about pollution. These customers, I think of one specifically, he was trying to change the company from within. He was trying, he was a very senior person in this company. They never listened to him. You know what happened? He quit. He set up his own business that is competition from them. I see this is going to happen more and more and more often. So right now, Mexico, they wanted to build a refinery. Now, the barrel, the last time I checked, was the cost -$2 US. Who is going to invest in a refinery right now? So the changes are just going to be dramatic. The people who insist to be in the past are just going to go bankrupt. We are not going to buy from them. So I think, honestly, I think that the European Commission doesn't need to be worried about creating more needs to report. We all have to become more conscious as consumers of our power and to say, I am not buying that. I'm really boycotting that. I know that you, in your own little family, you boycott sugar. I honor you so much. This is bad for me, for my husband, for my children. I don't eat sugar. So if we are going to really make a massive influence in the world, we have to start with us. Because control will have less power. It's going to be a radical transformation in the way governments and big businesses are going to work, because control is not going to help us anymore, or as it used to help us. How Mark Rutte kept us inside, it was by saying, please, dear citizens, will you please be at home? And people with please understood. So
it's more about cultural as well than leadership. But
yes, yes. And this cultural thing is what we have to be fostering. The culture of innovation, the culture of community, the culture of we're going to build the future. And you know, this COVID-19 is going to help us, because this is serious business. If you don't cooperate,
it's about collaboration.
If you don't collaborate,
it's not competition, it's collaboration. If we are not collaborating,
what's going to happen?
Dying.
We die. So this COVID-19 it's dangerous, but it is a great opportunity. And it looks like it has a life of its own, of really pushing us. Sometimes I think very spiritual, and I think it's like Mother Earth has shown to us in the form of a virus to tell us, guys, stop the nonsense. It is time to get serious.
And to the point.
Serious to the point. This is dead, guys. Okay, now it's time that we cooperate. Now it's time that we innovate. You have gone too far with your greed. Come back. What is important? Your child is important. What's important? Your health is important. The animals are important. What is important? So, my point of view, European Commission doesn't need to get more control.
So now the last use case is about women. And this is here two factors for the woman. One is how, like, this feminine energy of the bohemian sense of the economy, like only looking at impact, only looking at caring, and not about the financial point of view. That's one point. And now about the crisis, what is happening? Like, there is one survey, it was in Spain, about how many women they stop working or they stop the business in Spain because the crisis 19. Why? Because the reasons, the men is locked down in a room working without taking care of the family, without taking care of what is going on, only keeping going with the business. And the woman said, and who is doing the, the things? So who is doing the homeschooling? Who is doing the house? Who is doing the family? So now suddenly we have a huge mirror in front of us saying like all the women rights, they are lost because the survey shows like 80% of the women stop working.
Yeah, very
Instead
powerful.
of working together as a family, as a team in the family, like to share responsibilities, to share the time of working time, to share the space.
But
and that's one of the reactions of the crisis COVID-19 in case of women, and that's a drama. And this is a message for men as well to understand what is happening here. It's like you are blind. You want to become and to be a blind person and not have, this positive impact on the family as well, like to do it all together. And we know you have work, like, yeah, I have to.
I really go back to personal responsibility. I have a husband and 2 children, and where are the children? With my husband right now. And
same here, by the way. Because we are at home, locked down in a crisis, COVID-19. So, like the president of the Netherlands said, please stay home. We are home.
We are home.
Close.
Yeah.
So kids are home.
So this has brought so much in terms of our relationship and the children. I think really what I was saying before is really what I feel. This is a great opportunity to recalibrate your identity and your relationships. This morning, I let the children to be in the kitchen forever. From the moment they were born, they were in the kitchen. But I was always there, close to the fire, I was there, or breaking the egg, I was there. And today I let them do French toast all by themselves. If they broke the egg wrong, if they burned themselves, I did not know. And I realized that we women, we care so much that we want to make sure that the children are so okay that we don't let the man do as much as he could do because we want to get it right. And I think, and that's an element that is very difficult to accept because, of course, we're right. So let them be, let the children solve their problems, and let the husband be with them. Let them be, even if the house is going to get dirty. It's going to be fine. It is going to be fine. Let them be. If that is not good enough for you and your husband really insisting working and not taking care of the children, then you have to have a conversation. You need to have a conversation, and you need to have a daring conversation. And I think maybe this is happening on purpose because the emancipation of the women was done before, and maybe it's asking us right now to do the emancipation of me, Blanca, because the emancipators, the women of the past, are not going to come to my house. I have to have that conversation with my husband, and each one of us has to have the conversation with our husband. And what is that, honestly? What is that? What is the balance? It's very silly. In my house, it's just the opposite of all the houses that you have described to me. The homeschooling is done by my husband. I've been working, but I cook every evening. So is that okay? I don't know. It is the personal story where we are, me with my business, he with his business. We have to find, not compromises, because then we have to find agreements in which both parties feel heard, whole, and loved. What we do every evening is that we ask each other, did you feel loved today? Did I love you today? do we need to make changes? And we tell to each other, I need more time alone. Please allow me at 4 o'clock to be with nobody. I want to go for a bike ride or whatever it is. So I don't know what will work for you, Jara, for the listeners in their homes, and for the people in Spain and the people in Colombia. How that conversation with yourself, how today worked, and with your husband, how today worked. How can we change it? And be very practical about it. We have a scheme daily. From we wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. From 5 to 7, there is no children. From 7 to 9, all the hugs of the world. From 9 to 11, work and no mess. And like that, that's how we survive and thrive. I think I answered question 2 first, and then I go to question 1.
And then the question about how the woman, they move more from the hippie, bohemian side of the framework to more the conscious, so how to make impact and make money as well, because it's impossible to make impact if you have no money. So Absolutely. You need the money to make the impact. Yeah. And it's not only to have public money, which is then you are not ready to ask for money.
Yeah, totally. You're describing, let's say, my customer is the woman who has no financial independence and doesn't dare to have financial independence because money is bad, and what will people say if she dares to ask for money? She's a bad woman. So this is a great element of mindset. So you have to work in your mindset. Get yourself a coach, meditate, read, work on your mindset. Number 1. Number 2, is do that in community. Community, sisterhood is really important. I basically don't work one-on-one. I work with groups, and it's really powerful because every time that a woman comes with but Blanca, I don't dare to actually sell, everybody holds that woman and says, okay, this week you are going to do it. And everybody holds her, and she did it. She sent the email. So you need to work in money mindset, you need a community. And number 3, really, you need the know-how. Get yourself with people who know how to do it so that you see clearly the practicalities of how to do it and to do it. And I will say we need the other part as well, is that we're changing paradigm of making business that is more meaningful and more impactful. And that was presented by a venture capitalist that we were in the same meeting, you and I really love that. This venture capitalist, she said that they have 2 different approaches for entrepreneurs who are men and women. With the men, the men present figures. So the venture capitalist asks them more for what's the meaning of it? They kind of force them to be more meaning-oriented. And for the woman, they listen, they take coffee, they have a different setting, and then they ask her, okay, we got your passion. Now show me the numbers. So in this process of creating what I like to call the heart-centered economy, we have to be emotional and meaningful and very practical. You still have to be very practical. You still need the Excel file. You still need the pitch. You still need the good old business sense. We have 2 legs, 2 parts of the brain. You have to do the 2 of them. But yeah, do it in community. Do it in sisterhood. Find a sisterhood around. There are so many places. Women are rising. Be with the women that inspire you. But don't do it alone. It's very important. Don't do it alone.
And I think I am now listening to you, and I think maybe that's the last comment before we finished. It's not only happening to women. Some men as well, they are only impact driven. We can say they see doing business as a commercial thing, like they are not doing this because they are more only impact. So I think this could be applied to both, to say we need both things, now. And if you don't have the skills for one of the parts, learn, find people to discuss how I can be more impactful, how I can be more sustainable, how I can help the society with my business. Like, it's not only financial and economic driven business. So I think that's a very good point, because could be men and women, like both, they have to come to this balance on the economy. So that's a very, very practical point, like these 3 points.
The way I see the heart-centered economy is a jungle. The most potent, the best medicines have been found in a jungle. And in a jungle, there is no flat anything. You have rivers, and you have tigers and crocodiles, and nobody is being asked to be a full-rounded manager. In the MBA, they teach you to be full-rounded and to be a little bit of a crocodile and a little bit of an elephant and a little bit of a snake and a little bit of an eagle. No, be who you are and get together with everybody else and learn to be in the jungle with everybody else. We need all the different realities, all the different ways of thinking. You don't need to do things all by yourself and learn everything. Get yourself in the complexity of the future and in the beauty of the future. We are the paradigm of well-rounded leader, of flat pavement, it's disappearing. It's really becoming something way more organic and really extremely powerful.
Thank you, Blanca Vergara.
Blanca
Vergara is part of our Knowco Collabwith Community member as a business coach, author of the Heart-Centered Economy Framework and the Future Builder Framework. So thank you very much, Blanca.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Bye.